Imagine a place where the sun rises but brings no warmth. A place where every breath you take could be your last. This is not a scene from a movie. It is the stark reality for thousands locked away in the world's most dangerous prisons. These are not merely places of confinement. They are self-contained worlds governed by their own brutal laws. Here, the sentence handed down by a judge is often just the beginning. The real sentence is served day by day, moment by moment, in a constant struggle for survival. It is a world where hope is a foreign currency, and the only certainty is uncertainty itself. Consider the story of a man sent to a notorious prison in South America. He was not a killer, he was not a monster, he was a petty thief. But inside those walls, those distinctions fade away. On his first night, he witnessed a man being stabbed over a piece of bread. He saw that the guards did not intervene, they simply watched. He learned the first and most important lesson of his new life: you are on your own. This is the shocking truth of these institutions. They are designed to punish, but they have evolved into something far more terrifying. They have become ecosystems of violence. These are the places society tries to forget. We build high walls and top them with razor wire not just to keep inmates in, but to keep the truth of what happens inside from getting out. We call it a justice system, but for those who enter these gates, justice is a distant memory. Life is reduced to its most primal elements: eat, be eaten, fight, be broken. It is a daily calculus of risk and reward. In the vast, desolate landscape of the Russian steppe near the border with Kazakhstan stands Federal Penitentiary No. 6, known to the world as Black Dolphin, named for an inmate-made dolphin statue. But there is nothing graceful about this place. It is Russia's final destination for its most dangerous criminals: terrorists, serial killers, cannibals. The unofficial motto of the guards tells you everything. The only way to leave Black Dolphin is in a coffin. Life here is a masterclass in psychological and physical control. Prisoners are treated as objects to be managed. When moved, they are forced into a stress position, bent at the waist, hands cuffed behind their back, often blindfolded to prevent them from mapping the prison. They spend 23 hours a day locked in a small cell, often with one other inmate. The cells are fortresses within a fortress. A thick steel door, a second set of steel bars forming a cage-like antechamber. There was a place in Sao Paulo, Brazil, that became a symbol of everything wrong with the prison system. It was called the Karandiru Penitentiary. Wide-angle yard shot showing massive overcrowding, teeming inmates. At its peak, it held nearly 8,000 inmates in a facility designed for less than half that number. It was not just a prison, it was a city, a lawless, sprawling metropolis of concrete and despair. Inside its walls, the state had all but abdicated its authority. The gangs ran everything. They controlled the flow of drugs, the distribution of food, the administration of their own brutal form of justice. The guards controlled the gates, but the inmates controlled the world within. Life in Karandiru was a daily struggle for basic necessities. Overcrowding was so extreme that men slept in shifts on floors slick with filth or in makeshift hammocks strung up in hallways. Sanitation was a nightmare. The plumbing systems failed long ago, and the stench of human waste was overpowering: AIDS. In the remote forests of Northern California lies a prison that represents a different kind of deadliness. Pelican Bay State Prison sits isolated among trees and barbed wire, a stark, foreboding exterior shot of the prison grounds. Its danger is more insidious, more modern. It is a supermax facility designed for the worst of the worst. Its most notorious feature is the Security Housing Unit, or HU. Long-term solitary confinement is the rule here. It is a clean, sterile, and quiet hell. The weapon of choice is sensory deprivation. In the SU, a prisoner spends at least 22.5 hours a day alone in a small concrete cell. The cell is featureless, usually windowless. Food is pushed through a slot in a heavy door. Human contact is virtually non-existent. Exercise means a short period in an enclosed concrete pen, alone. Years or decades can pass without touching another person. This extreme isolation is psychological torture. The effects are well documented. Severe anxiety, paranoia, hallucinations, rage. Inmates lose the ability to interact socially. The mind, starved of stimulus, begins to eat itself. What is it like to wake up inside one of these places? The day begins not with the sun, but with the clang of a steel door, or a blaring alarm. The first thought is not about breakfast. It is about making it to lunch. Every moment is governed by a complex set of unwritten rules. Do not make eye contact for too long. Do not sit in the wrong part of the mess hall. Do not accept a gift from anyone, because it is never free. It is a debt that will be collected, often with interest. Learning these rules quickly is the difference between being a predator and becoming prey. Survival is a full-time job. You learn to read the subtle shifts in the atmosphere of the prison yard, to sense when tension is rising. You learn to walk with a certain posture, one that projects confidence without being a challenge. Finding a group or a gang is often not a choice but a necessity. To be alone is to be vulnerable. Joining a gang offers protection, but it comes at a price. We tell ourselves that prisons exist to reform people, to provide a path to redemption. But in the world's deadliest prisons, this idea is a fantasy. When a prison is severely underfunded and dangerously overcrowded, the staff's primary goal shifts from rehabilitation to simple containment. They are not counselors, they are crowd controllers. Corruption further poisons any chance of reform. When guards are complicit in the prison's criminal underworld, the entire structure of authority collapses. How can an inmate learn to respect the law when the enforcers of that law are breaking it themselves? This creates a culture of cynicism, where the only lesson learned is that power is all that matters. Inmates see that the system is just as corrupt as the streets they came from, only with different rules. The gangs essentially become the de facto government inside the walls. They provide a structure, a code of conduct, and a sense of belonging that the official system fails to offer. For a new inmate, falling in with a gang is a logical choice for survival, not a place of reform. What happens to the few who survive? For those who serve their time in these brutal institutions and are eventually released, the prison gates do not open to freedom. They open to a different kind of prison. The world they return to is alien. They are haunted by the things they have seen and the things they have done to survive. Post-traumatic stress disorder is rampant among former inmates of violent prisons. They suffer from nightmares, they suffer from flashbacks, they suffer from crippling anxiety. The hypervigilance that kept them alive inside becomes a debilitating paranoia on the outside. Reintegrating into society is a monumental challenge. The world has moved on without them. Technology has changed, relationships have fractured. Finding a job with a criminal record is hard enough. Finding one when you are psychologically scarred and lack modern skills is nearly impossible. Many are released with nothing more than a bus ticket and the clothes on their back. They are thrust back into the very environments that led them to prison in the first place, but now they are more damaged.